Right, let's do a skills video. Have you ever experienced what might feel like an emotional storm happening inside of you? This might feel like a panic attack or overwhelming anxiety or emotional dysregulation or hyperarousal or maybe dissociation or maybe impulsive or compulsive behavior. Or you get so caught up on your thoughts and your memories or your urges or your sensations that you lose connection with the present moment. And when this happens, what do you do? Do you get swept away by it or caught up in it, where the storm controls everything that you do whilst it's there? Or do you try and fight it and struggle with it? Or do you try and push it away, get rid of it, make it go away? Or maybe you try to do a bit of both of them. And let's just move away from emotional storms for a minute and think about actual weather storms. Imagine you're a captain of a boat that's sailing into the harbour, and as it enters the harbour, you notice the wind starts to pick up. You look up in the sky and you see some grey clouds, and you feel that a storm is beginning to come in. Well, what do you do in that situation as the captain? Something you could do is drop an anchor to prevent your boat from getting swept up in the storm and disappearing. Now, obviously, dropping an anchor doesn't affect the storm. It doesn't stop the high winds. It doesn't stop the rain. It doesn't stop the grey clouds coming in. The anchor can't control the weather, but it holds the boat securely in place until the storm has passed. So this exercise is going to show you how you can drop your own anchor when the emotional storm starts to show up. And this exercise, which you may have guessed by now, is called dropping anchor. And it appears in various acceptance and commitment therapy books, mostly ones written by the great Dr. Russ Harris. And I'll leave a link in the description to some books that I highly recommend. They're for both therapists and for non-therapists too. And I like to remember the steps of dropping anchor through the letters FACE, or F-A-C-E. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through each of these letters and what happens at each stage. And then afterwards, I'm going to combine them all into a single exercise. So it's probably quite helpful for you to watch all of this than it is to skip ahead straight to the exercise, because it might not make as much sense. So the F is for focus what is in your control. And it really sets the scene for what we are doing. So if you've been following my videos for a while, you'll probably understand what I mean when I say that our thoughts are really, really difficult to change. I've said this many times, our brains are designed to look for threats and bring them to our attention. I'm not going to go into more detail about that now in this video because we'll get massively sidetracked, but thoughts are very hard to change. You also can't really directly control your emotions, because if you could, then I'd probably be out of a job. But what we do have some control over, and I'm not saying this is easy, but it's what we have the most influence over, is our behaviour. So what we actually do. So that sets up the rationale for what we are going to do next. So the A in FACE is acknowledge your thoughts and your feelings. Acknowledge what is coming up for you. So this could be thoughts, this could be emotions, this could be physical feelings, it could be urges, it could be memories, anything that is coming up for you. And see if you can name it. And be as general or as specific as your noticing allows. So here's anxiety again. Here comes my worry. I'm noticing I'm having a feeling of sadness. I'm having thoughts that I need to check myself for something. Maybe in the case of health anxiety. And whilst we are acknowledging what's going on for us, we can at the same time do the C, which is come back into the body or connect with our body. And this is where we try and reconnect with our physical body, as quite often we get caught up in our minds when we are becoming overwhelmed. So now we try to get back to our body. And there's a few ways we can try and do this. We can stretch our arms over our head. We can adjust our posture if we're sitting to be more active, so sitting straight up. We can press our fingers together. We can push our feet into the floor. Anything where we are actively moving our body. We are focusing on something we have some control over. And you might feel yourself when you get overwhelmed, shutting down so much like this is really difficult. But we can try really, really small movements. Start at the smallest step that you need to. That could be just wriggling your fingers. Okay, moving your toes, just anything, any small movement. Let's try to regain some control. So we are still acknowledging what is happening for us. We are connecting back with our body, and now we can move to the E. And the E is engage in what you are doing. What we are trying to do here is to turn our focus onto the activity we are meant to be doing, that our emotional state is taking us away from. And usually this is something important or meaningful, like spending time with the kids, or preparing a presentation that you are giving, or writing an assignment, or spending time with a loved one, or going out for a walk to enjoy the scenery. Just anything that you find important, that you are being taken away from. And there's various ways we can do this. Okay, a popular way is to use our senses. So notice 5 things you can see and name them. And you can add a twist if you want and add a certain colour. So 5 blue things or 5 red things. Notice 4 things you can hear. Notice 3 things you can touch, and actually touch them if you can. Notice 2 things you can maybe smell. And notice 1 taste in your mouth. Then notice what you are doing in the present moment. And we can loop through this exercise as many times as needed and take as long as we need at each step. So let's combine all of this into an exercise. Okay, so let's imagine you were my client and we're going to do this exercise together in a session. So see if you can bring something to mind that's difficult for you right now. Something that brings up some worry or some anxiety or something with a bit of pain behind it. And please remember the context of how we are doing this right now, okay? I'm not actually here with you, so please don't choose something that will be massively overwhelming for you. So pause this until you can think of something appropriate and then come back. Welcome back. I can see you're really struggling right now, and I would like you to try something with me. So please listen if you can and follow what I am saying. So let's acknowledge right now there are some difficult thoughts and feelings showing up for you. Let's try to be a bit curious. What does it feel like? See if you can pay attention to it. Allow yourself to experience it. Try not to fight it. I know it's hard. Try not to push it away. Okay, there is something here with you. Something you have brought to your mind that you didn't really want to, but it's here. Let yourself experience it. I know it's difficult. I know it's painful. See if you can see it like someone seeing something for the very first time. Like the first time you saw a beautiful sunset and you tried to take it all in. And whilst you do this, notice what your mind is saying to you. What words are coming up inside your head? And again, just notice those words. You don't need to try to push them away. You don't need to try to distract yourself from them. Allow those words to be there. I know it's difficult. I know those words might be very unkind. Let's just see if you can sit with them. And now scan your body. Notice if there's anything showing up. Is there any tension? Is there any tightness anywhere? So we can scan from the top of our heads all the way down to our toes. Do you notice anything in your head? Do you notice anything in your neck? Do you notice anything in your shoulders? Or your back? Do you notice anything in your chest? Or in your stomach? Or is there any tension or tightness or anything in your arms? Or how about your legs? Or your feet? And let's remember that here and now, these thoughts and feelings are here with you. We're not trying to distract ourselves from them. We're not trying to fight or struggle. And if you can, just see if you can sit a bit more upright. And as you do this, push your feet into the floor and feel perhaps how hard or soft the floor is under your feet. If you have arms in your chair, then see if you can push your own arms gently into the chair arms. And again, just notice what that contact feels like. Is there a temperature there? Do the arms feel cold? Do they feel warm? Do they feel just room temperature? And if you don't have chair arms, then try pressing your fingertips together. And let's see if you can rotate your shoulders at the same time. And again, just acknowledge that there's a lot of pain here. And it has shown up right now for you. You didn't really want it. And sometimes it comes without you asking for it or purposely bringing it to mind. But it's here right now. It's uncomfortable. It's difficult. And see if you can name what's going on for you. So this memory is really painful. Or there's some worry showing up about something to do with my partner. You know, if you can be specific, then be specific. You know, just name whatever is coming up for you. And whilst you name this, notice and acknowledge that there is pain behind it. But around that pain is also a physical body in the world. A world that you can engage in and has some meaning and value to it. And right now you do have some control over your physical body. Notice you can gently turn your ankles. Notice you can move your feet. Notice you may be able to swing your legs a bit or stretch your arms above your head. And whilst you are able to move, see if you can notice more about this world here, this world outside of your body. And in this world are all the things that you find meaningful and want to engage in, or maybe some things you kind of have to engage in daily life. And let's see if we can use our senses to really get connected with the world right now. See if you can see 5 green things, or if you can't, 5 blue things, or whatever your favorite color is, can you see 5 things that are that color? And if you can, just name them. Notice if you can hear 3 or 4 things. Any sounds at all. And if you can hear them, see if you can name them. And whilst you're doing this, notice that you are engaging in your surroundings and what's going on around you a bit more. Notice you're engaging with me in this video. You know, you're listening. Maybe you're watching too. Notice you can hear me speaking. And again, whilst you're doing that, whilst you're engaging, notice you are also having some difficult thoughts and feelings that are showing up for you. And whilst those difficult thoughts and feelings are there, again, notice you have this physical body still. A physical body that you can continue to move, that you can stretch. And notice you have eyes that can look around the room. And notice right now you're still watching or listening to this video and engaging in this exercise. And now notice if you feel any difference now compared to right at the beginning. Is it any easier for you to be with me here, listening or watching this video? Because we're coming to the end of this exercise now. Do you feel like you have any more control over your actions and what you're able to do right now? If so, then that's good. That is the intention of this exercise. It's not to purposely get rid of unwanted thoughts and feelings. It's not to distract yourself. It's not to relax you. It's to allow you to build the skill to be present with them and keep some control over what you can physically do and engage in during these moments. And if you want, you can go to the beginning of the chapter of this part of the video and repeat again if you need to. That's absolutely fine. You just Go through it as many times as you would like. So I hope you like that one. Like I say with all my exercises, not every exercise lands well with every person. This is why I try to offer a wide range of exercises. Notice with this one, with the E stage, so the engage in something meaningful stage, that we use engage with this video as the valued activity. If you weren't watching this video, then obviously you would focus on whatever your emotional storm was taking you away from. I hope this exercise did make some sense in what we're trying to do. We talk about willingness a lot, willingness to move forward and take your thoughts and your feelings, no matter what they are, with you. This is showing you, I hope, that it is possible for you to remain connected in the world whilst having some painful thoughts and feelings going on for you. Okay, they don't have to take you away from what you want to do. That might sound like a far reach to some people right now, but like every skill, it takes some practice and it does get easier. And what we find is when people get good at this skill is that although the primary goal isn't to get rid of thoughts or feelings, we do find that they tend to turn down a little bit so they don't get in the way as much. And that sounds like it would be beneficial for pretty much everyone. So there we go. I hope you got something out of this one. I've got loads more on the way. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.